Morning. I hauled a load of corn this morning, so I guess it's not morning anymore, but ate some lunch. The Jenner guy got the new nice shiny Gen 4 Raven, whatever it is, stuck in the sprayer. They were running a deal where they had rebates on if you traded in your old monitor, and my old monitor was getting pretty obsolete and starting to wig out last year, so figured I'd go ahead and do the upgrade, spend a couple $1,000s. This is the same monitor that they put in the brand new sprayers, so it'll be nice to have a nice updated display. And we're putting a good amount of money. I'm putting about $14,000 into this sprayer right now, between replacing some old wiring harnesses that are just getting cracked and things like that, and just some odd and end stuff that we're going through and fixing. So this sprayer should last me a good long time. It's a 1,200 gallon tank, 120 foot boom, so in theory this thing should be updated and good to go for a while. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it lasts me a while. I do really like this Patriot. I mean, it's an 06, I think, so or no, it's an 08, something like that. But so it's got some age on it, but it's been a hell of a lot more reliable, knock on wood, than the 2018 or 2019 Haggy. So a lot better machine, but I like it. So throwing some money at it and getting it ready to go. And the goal this afternoon is to get that out of the field. The starter went bad on it, so I'm not saying it's dry by any means, but I think it's dry enough I can take the Magnum out there and unhook that finisher with the hydraulics on it, and then drag that Steiger out of the field up here to the shop. I've got a new starter to put on it. I just don't feel like doing it right out there in the field. And being that it's right here by the shop, I'm just gonna drag it up here. So that is the plan this afternoon. So step one here is gonna be getting the hitch pin out of this dead tractor here. There's a rabbit. Anybody need a rabbit? And it may be loose, but I'm doubting that it is, and it's not. So we will shut these off. I've left a chain on here, that's a good thing. And I'm gonna need both hands to yank these hoses out. Those hoses were just long enough to reach here. I think I just went the wrong way. So all I gotta do is inch this out of the ground, get the pressure off of that hitch, get the hitch pin pulled, and I don't care if it drops. I can always use the 3-point on this tractor to pick it up, but problem is I think I'm gonna need the skid steer here. In fact, the skid steer may be my better bet to try and get this unhooked. I'm not sure, but then I'm gonna need 2 people. We're going up and down, that's not the issue, but getting this hooked up or unhooked is gonna be kind of fun. And I don't have cylinder stops for this, or I would just leave it hooked up and pull the tractor with the ripper on it. But it's already leaking down right now, so by the time I get hooked up, if it wasn't muddy, maybe I'd possibly pull it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that tractor and the ripper down in the ground in the mud. That's just not going to happen. So I don't know, maybe I could. I was really thinking maybe there was a cylinder stop somewhere on here, but I am not seeing one, which sucks. It would appear I've gotten a visitor on my step. Huh. He's just sleeping. Well, the good news is, even though it's sinking, I was able to get it with the jack. So I'll let the pressure off this, unhook this, drag this out of the way. Well, it's all it wanted to do to pull this thing, but we're moving. Slowly, we're moving. I didn't record much because it wasn't real pretty trying to get hooked on, but the disc ripper is now unhooked. there's a whole lot of turkey litter that needs to be spread. I wish it would dry out. Like, it's been sunny and extremely windy, so the ground's dried out a lot, but it's not near dry enough to try and drag a spreader across. And then I need to hook up the 9380 to those two. That one needs welded on and all kinds of crap done to it. And yeah, I need to get those going this year. Morning. After shocking the shit out of myself, I decided to actually disconnect the battery before I start pulling the starter off. I'm gonna go ahead and get it off before I run to town and pick up the new one. That way I've got the core, and that way I make sure that I'm picking up the right one. So we're wiggling this off of here. Kind of, sort of. That wire is not long enough to pull off there with one hand, so I'm gonna need both for this. Well, it's plenty muddy and it's plenty sketchy to be out here doing this, but I've got the combine moving towards the farm. This ground has been disc ripped though, so it is plenty soft, and I'm just crossing my fingers we don't get stuck. But we're supposed to get another inch of rain tonight, so it was kind of now or never, or wait until spring to get this thing out of the field, so I'm trying to get it out of the field. Well, it made it to a place that we can at least get it loaded in onto a lowboy now, so that was rather sketchy to get it up here. And there was a couple times I thought I was gonna have to go get the Steiger and yank this out, but we got it. I hope they come get it soon, because it's a hell of an eyesore sitting here at the farm, and it's something I'd like to just get out of here. Morning. I'm not saying it's windy, but the hood on that tractor is flying up right now because I don't have it fastened down. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that's how windy it is today. So it's kind of miserable out. It finally dried up enough yesterday that I was able to get the combine drug out of the field, the burnt one, and got it up here to the farm. And today it's nice and shitty out, so it's a good day to load corn. The last load was 13.5%. So it's not hurting that it's raining into the trailer as we're loading this. Give us a little bit of razzle dazzle to make it weigh a little bit more. But yeah, it's miserable today, and we're hauling corn in the mud, so that's that. Well, I got stuck the last load, so I grabbed more of my number 2s there. I wish they'd get that combine out of here, but skid steer is filthy. But just keep patching the driveway a few scoops at a time, and then you load the truck and it matches it. Using big rock, you'd think there'd be a bottom eventually, but there sure doesn't seem to be. There's probably 3 or 4 dump trailers full of rock right here now. Looking at the driveway, you sure couldn't tell it. Well, I've filled the last load of that contract, which feels good. I've got 2 more contracts to fill yet, and honestly, I wish I had more, because if you guys have been watching the grain markets lately, we just got another round of tariffs announced, and I'm not going to get political here, but it didn't help the grain market whatsoever. Everything we have gained in the past 3 months, we just lost in about 3 days. So corn's really cheap again, and so is soybeans. Hopefully something turns around before next harvest on new crop. But in addition to that, fertilizer and chemical is going to continue to go up because we import more of that than we make domestically. So it's going to be a tough year to farm, I would say, but we'll get through it. And in the grand scheme of things, hopefully this does benefit the country in the long term, but I know in the short term, it's starting to sting. Morning. I am headed down to Evansville today, but not in a semi, unfortunately. And the reason for that is because instead of heading down in a semi today, I'm headed down in a pickup. And I'm headed down in a pickup because I let my applicator's license expire and I didn't realize it. So, went to order some chemical the other day and they said, hey, you can't buy that until you give us an updated number for your applicator's license because it's expired. To which I replied, well, shit. Well, I got in an hour early and I had an hour and a half to take the test, and it took me about 15 minutes. It took 49 questions to pass out of 70, and I scored a 54. So, C's get degrees. It's just like college and high school. And that's okay, because I still passed. So we can buy chemical again. That's good, because we're going to need a lot of it this year. But, that's done. Now I gotta mail some bullshit $20 check in to the state chemist. And honestly, for those of you that have ever gone to those PARP meetings, they are incredibly boring. Like, they literally will just put on like a half-hour long video. I mean, usually you get like a free meal out of it or something at least, because they'll host them at co-ops or retailers or whatever. But, you know, the actual applicators test part where you get your PARP credit, which is your private application something, I don't know, the acronym, government acronym for, you know, being able to buy this stuff. The meetings are incredibly boring, and you have to go to 3 of them every 5 years. You get 1 credit for each meeting you go to, and honestly, as easy as it is to just retake the test, I don't know that I'll go back for another 5 years. I'll just wait another 5 years and retake the test again, because that was not difficult at all. The only questions that I missed were the restricted use pesticide, like the safety questions, you know, what should you wear and this and that, which, I mean, 90% of the time I mix chemicals in shorts and hey dudes and a cut-off t-shirt, and I just try not to drink the Paraquat. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm still here. So, I feel like if it's just detrimental to me, then let me do what I want. But, anyhow, that's the only questions I missed. But we still passed, so headed home and meeting with a banker this afternoon. Got the big yearly meeting, so find out if we're farming again next year or not. But anyhow, that's that. I'm getting long-winded, so I'm gonna shut up now.